Have you ever noticed how some people just get stuff done? Like they're hitting the gym, they're building side projects, they're crushing it at work, and somehow they still have time to go out on the weekends. Meanwhile, I'm laying in bed, I didn't do anything today. Looking at my massive to-do list that I have, that only got bigger today, thinking, where did my day go? Because here's what's actually happening. Most people wake up with this massive list of everything they need to do. Full week's worth of tasks they somehow convince themselves they need to finish by dinner. And every night, same result. Stressed, exhausted, feeling like a failure. Not because they're lazy, I mean like they're working hard, but the system is just broken. So I'm gonna show you the exact system that fixes this. That would basically allow you to get more done in less time and feel better after it. So let's get into it. Alright, picture this. You wake up, grab your phone, look at your to-do list, and your stomach drops. There's just so much. You gotta study for that exam, finish that work project, reply to like 50 emails, go to the gym, meal prep, clean your place, run those errands you've been putting off for a week. The list just keeps going. If someone asks you, what's your plan for today? And you just answer, everything. I have to do everything. Then this is a total recipe for disaster. Because here's the thing, that is not a plan. Most people make three massive mistakes here. And the first one is that they try to cram as much as possible into the day and convince themselves that they can basically achieve 1 week worth of to-dos and things you gotta do in like just randomly one day, because yeah, this time it's gonna be different. You know it's impossible, but you kind of tell yourself like this day is different. Today I'm motivated. The second mistake is that they're treating everything as equally important. Like finishing their project for work and taking out trash later on is like on the same list of urgency and importance in their mind, because it's all crammed into this huge massive to-do list that they have and equally looks like something I have to do today, but they're really much not the same, not even close, and thinking that they're the same destroys your productivity. And mistake number 3, and this one is actually sneaky, it's that you're way too optimistic about your time. You think, I can definitely write that exam in an hour. No, you can't. It's gonna take 3. Gym will be quick, like 45 minutes. With a commute, shower, eating, getting dressed, what? No, 2-hour minimum. But we lie to ourselves because this overly optimistic version in our heads is way easier and way more comfortable than facing reality, so to speak. And this is like the red line running across all of these different points. It's that we're kind of way too optimistic about what we can actually achieve, in what way we achieve it, and when we achieve it. So if we plan unrealistically, we don't have to like deal with the uncomfortable truth of our everyday life. But ignoring reality kind of doesn't change anything. It kind of just makes you more stressed and stuck. All right, so how do we actually fix this? First thing, time blocking. I know this sounds like some productivity bro stuff from like 5 years ago on YouTube, but trust me, it is. But it works really well. The idea is just stupid simple. Instead of waking up and you plan your day the night before. You take everything you need to do and you put in actual time slots. Open Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, whatever it is. You're creating structure before the chaos starts the next day. And Cal Newport talks about this in one of my favorite books. It's called Deep Work. It's linked in the description. And the secret is that this basically is where the real progress happens, and it also is the most bang for your buck, so to speak. Because the trap with shallow work is that of course it's way easier to start writing your essay with a YouTube video open next to it and watching it or checking something on Instagram all the time, while you actually should get something important done, because of course this is more interesting. But there are several problems that occur here. On the one hand, it's that there's this mental fatigue that happens. It's really hard for your brain, although you don't notice it immediately, to switch from, for example, checking Instagram to writing your essay, from your essay again to checking Instagram. Of course, it's always more pleasant to do something else instead of your proper work, and you kind of feel like, yeah, you are somehow busy. You get something a little bit done, at least. You're having a bit of progress on writing your essay, and you're technically busy. But this shallow work is so mentally fatiguing, it's so draining, and the speed of progress is so unimaginably slow compared to deep work. And at the end of the day, you maybe spent 8 hours of work but barely got anything done, wasted huge amounts of time, and still feel super drained afterwards. And with deep work, it's exactly the opposite. You go in there, it's basically like war. You concentrate 100%, but get in, handle the task as quickly and as fast as possible, and then finish a task, close the task, and start relaxing again. Now, time blocking doesn't mean that you need to plan every single minute here. Like, you don't need like 7:03 a.m. brush teeth in your calendar, because that will literally be insane. Think a little bit bigger. 1 to 2 hour blocks for your main task, I would recommend. So let's say you're a student with a part-time job. Maybe 9 to 11 a.m. is for that essay, 12 to 2 p.m. is work, 3 to 5 p.m. is studying. You're not micromanaging per se, but you know exactly what you're focusing on, and most importantly, when. No more staring at your huge ass to-do list at 9 a.m. thinking, all right, what should I do first? Because you already decided that yesterday. And honestly, that's a real benefit, because you eliminate that mental fog of constantly trying to figure out what to work on. You just look at your calendar and start. It's that simple. Solution number 2, the Eisenhower matrix. All right, now you have your time blocks, but the real question is, what task actually deserves your attention? And this is where it exactly gets interesting. Last Christmas, I had a bunch of stuff on my list. I had to buy some gifts and like typical holiday errand stuff. But I also had real work. I had loads of actual deadlines for important everyday adult things. And you know what I did? I spent like the entire morning running those stupid errands. I felt I was checking so many things off my to-do list. But the afternoon, when I finally sat down to work on the stuff that actually mattered, you guessed it, I was exhausted. And at the end of the day, I realized that I did basically nothing of importance. Just a bunch of little tasks that honestly could have waited a bit. And this is where the Eisenhower matrix that I really much like, named by President Eisenhower, actually comes in. It's a technique to break down and know what to prioritize and how to break down every task of yours into 4 categories. You have your important and urgent tasks, actual emergencies, and then you have important but not urgent. And this is the category most people ignore, but it's the one that actually changes your life, so to speak, because it's going to the gym. It's spending time with people in your life. It's not urgent, so they're like easy to push off and forget when you have a really busy schedule. But over time, this is where all your real progress and all the things that are important to you actually come from. Then you have urgent but not important. Most emails, small errands, meetings that don't really need you. They feel urgent, but they're not really much moving you forward in life. And the last one is not urgent and not even important. Social media, binge watching shows you don't even like, busy work. Like if it's really not urgent, not important, like put it in like 3 months and maybe in 3 months it will be important, or just delete it completely. Here's what you need to understand. Your energy is limited, and so is your willpower. Most people have their peak performance somewhere between morning and midday. It might be different for you. Everyone has that peak time for productivity, so to speak, but you want to use your prime focus hours for the most important tasks in your everyday life, because then you're fresh, you're mentally sharp, and you have like the energy to tackle those big projects that you want to do. So don't waste it on garbage. Solution number 3, realistic time estimation. Real talk, you probably suck at estimating time. So do I. I suck at it as well. We all suck at estimating how long it takes to finish a task. And the good news is that there's actually science behind it that at least explains why this is. It's called the planning fallacy. Basically, humans are terrible at predicting how long things take. You think that essay is an hour? It's 3. That quick workout is 45 minutes. With everything, it's at least 2 hours. And there's this Latin phrase that I really much love. It's called festina lente, which translates to make haste but slowly. And the Navy SEALs, for example, say something similar. They say like slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Because the idea is that, of course, it always sounds so much more intriguing to just say that, yeah, that essay is gonna take me 30 minutes. Yeah, that workout is gonna take me 5 minutes, whatever it is. Like absolutely over optimistic of how long it takes you, so that you can stuff in and cram in more to-dos on your everyday list to be done as fast as possible to maximize your productivity. But the reality is that if you overload your to-do list, your daily plan, whatever it is, if you're way too optimistic about how much you can actually achieve in that day, if you're basically imagining yourself like working a double time or so, then reality is that it's most likely just not true. So here's what I do. When I'm planning my day, before putting it, for example, into the calendar, I write down how long I think each task will take. As I said, essay, 1 hour. Project, 3 hours. Gym, 1 hour. Then I do something that feels really unsatisfying and weird at first, but has been a total game changer. I simply multiply everything by 1.5 or 2. And I just, without thinking, say, all right, that 1 hour essay, probably 1.5 hours. That 3 hour project, at least 6. It sounds really counterintuitive, like, won't that make me slower? But here's what actually happens. My plans become realistic and I don't F up all the time. I'm not constantly stressed. I'm not ending every day feeling like I failed. Instead, I finish what I planned. And sometimes I even finish early, which just feels amazing because this is such a rare feeling. Being pessimistic with your time is honestly something that makes you more productive but not less. Because a plan you can actually complete beats a fantasy plan that leaves you demoralized every single time. Solution number 4, a daily shutdown ritual. Okay, there's one small hack that I want to share with you, but it can be a total game changer. And it is to have a hard stop every single day. Because here's something that most people don't get about productivity. It's not about working 10 hours a day. Because the crazy thing is, multiple studies show that the average office worker is only truly productive for like 2 to 4 hours a day. The rest is meetings, busy work, pretending to look busy. And if you spend your sharpest hours doing deep work with a solid plan, you can accomplish more in 2 to 4 hours than most people accomplish in a whole day. But this pace and this level of productivity and of deep work is only sustainable if you really get rest afterwards. That's why you need a shutdown time. For me, it doesn't matter what it is, I try to have a shutdown time from anywhere from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. After that, work is done. Laptop is closed. Without this, you fall into what I call like pseudo productivity. You're not really working, but you're not really resting either. Think about it. Cramming just one more hour late into the night until you actually just want to dead drop, fall asleep. Sounds like you're working. It sounds like you're more productive, but the reality is that your level of productivity is just so low. So when you have a clear stop time, you give yourself permission to actually rest. You recharge. And the next day, you come back with energy. Over time, this rhythm, focused work, and then real rest is what leads to actionable, sustainable success. Would you rather work like 12 hours with scattered focus and not really much getting anything done, and also not really much feeling relaxed? Or 4 focused hours where you crush your priorities and then enjoy your evening guilt-free? I think that's an easy choice, right? So for a second, just imagine you actually do this, what I discussed in this video. You plan your day the night before, you use the Eisenhower matrix to know what actually matters. You're not constantly overwhelmed. You're just making progress. Sustainably, consistently, and that really much compounds over time. And I've seen this work over and over. Once you start implementing these 4 things, everything shifts. Same 24 hours, completely different results. Less stress, more actual productivity, and way better balance. So here's what I want you to do. Tonight, before bed, plan tomorrow. Pick your most important tasks, block out realistic times, and set a shutdown. And just try this for one day and see how much changes. And if you still cannot concentrate and focus, then make sure to watch this video where I talk about how you can basically 10x your focus and your concentration by applying some hacks that I had to find out the hard way. Besides that, thank you so much for watching and hopefully see you next time. Bye bye.